This is Victor Conti here for all you elite athletes and others that are looking for a great night's sleep and accelerating healing and tissue repair. ZMA5, sweet dreams.
The same game plan it was when you were his age. You had a lot of big fights coming up, but then once you got to around 28, it was like line him up, murderous road. Is that what the game plan is with Canelo now? Just fight the best as much as possible.
Well, there comes a point. There comes a point in your career where it doesn't matter who you fight. It doesn't matter if they're 25 years old, younger than you, and have a better record than you, and they're the beast of the block. It just doesn't matter anymore. Canelo has been fighting the best, starting at 154 when he fought Lara, when he fought Trout, when he fought Mayweather at such an early age. Now he fought Triple G back to back, and now he's fighting Daniel Jacobs. I mean, I think he's on a faster pace than compared to any fighter out there. So yes, you're right. With Canelo, it's like just line them up and I'm gonna take them down.
Oscar, why do you think it is that we don't see more fighters doing where Canelo's doing, where he's taking tough fight after tough fight?
It's, I mean, I hate to go back to it, but it's the Mayweather era, you know? It's like zero risk, money reward, you know? Instead of zero risk and legacy reward, you know? It's different. It's different times, but Canelo hopefully will change all that as he is now the champion that is recognized as the guy who's carrying the sport. You know, the young kids will follow, and it happens in every generation.
Doing what you did, Oscar.
Correct.
Oscar, do you believe as the biggest name in the sport, which you were, let's say go back to, that you had a responsibility to make certain fights?
Absolutely, absolutely. It somewhat has to do with the pressure of the public, but more importantly, it has to do with who you are, you know. If you ask Canelo today, is he afraid to lose? He'll say no. He's not afraid to lose because he understands that difficult fights like these, like Jacobs, like Mayweather that he took a long time ago, the Triple G fights, he understands that anything can happen, you know.
Is there a particular fight that you feel as though that the public demand made you take a certain fight?
Probably the Lara fight. I mean, for Canelo or me personally.
Yeah.
I would have. I mean, you would have to ask Canelo. But we felt a little pressured by the public with the Lara fight. Mm-hmm. And then the fact that you have a fighter who tells you, I'll fight anybody, you know, we had to make it happen for the sake of Canelo. But for me personally, no, I always said just line them up, doesn't matter who.
Was Canelo pressured into this fight?
No,
he actually
no, not at all. This is what he wanted. He's in the driver's seat. Canelo has the luxury of just picking his opponents, and thank God, thank Canelo that he's picking the toughest guys.
Hey Oscar, for you back, about a year and a half ago, I guess, when Golovkin didn't hesitate at all to really call out you guys for a fight. Now he's kind of sitting on the sidelines, and we're all kind of like waiting to see what his decision will be final. Do you want to say anything to him about like, hey, what are you waiting for? Just come to his own if you got all those fights?
No, I mean, look, I actually, first of all, if he wants to fight Canelo, he has to have an agreement with DAZN. It'll make the fight that much easier to make. But Canelo's not waiting for him 1 second. You know, Canelo has many options after Jacob, so.
Do you want him with his own? I mean, given the fact that you're.
I strongly feel it's the better option for him at this point of his career.
Oscar, you've promoted Canelo across HBO, Showtime, and now the Zone. Do you feel you have an obligation to not only your partner, but the fans as well, to keep making the best fights that are possibly out there?
Yeah, I mean that's why we do this. That's the bottom line. Is you know, we have the biggest star in boxing, and the fans deserve the best fights out there, and make the best fights at the right time, at the best time. So is there an obligation? Absolutely.
Do you feel any pressure with the Zone being such a nascent company still? Do you feel any pressure from the partner to make the best fights as possible?
No, we don't feel no pressure at all. I mean, they're great partners, but we're the promoter, and we have the star fighter, and you know, we collectively make the decisions, but there's no pressure whatsoever because they understand who Canelo is. They understand where I come from, and you know, we all collectively always agree upon the best fighters, you know, fighting the best.
Oscar, en español, por favor. Jacobs dijo que dio ganadora a Triple G en las dos peleas con Canelo. ¿Qué respondes a eso?
Pues obviamente él tiene su opinión. Yo creo que Jacobs le dio una gran batalla a Triple G. El hecho de que él piense que Triple G ganó las dos peleas contra Canelo, pues es su opinión. Y yo lo entiendo, porque yo entiendo lo que está tratando de hacer psicológicamente con Canelo. Pero el Canelo es un profesional y es alguien que toma su plan de pelea mental bien serio. Él sabe lo que está haciendo, pero esos truquitos no van a funcionar con Canelo.
Y sé que es muy temprano todavía hablar de la pelea, pero ¿qué podemos esperar nosotros para esa noche?
Va a ser una gran pelea. El hecho de que Jacobs sobrevivió cáncer, el hecho de que ganó 2 campeonatos mundiales después de noquear al cáncer, te dice todo. Va a ser una pelea difícil, una pelea fuerte, porque Jacobs no se va a doblar fácil, no se va a caer fácil, va a ser una pelea fuerte. He asked me if you know, how difficult of a fight might it be May 4th. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball in front of me, but I do know one thing: having survived cancer, I know for a fact that it's gonna make him a real difficult fight for Canelo that night. It's gonna be a tough fight. I have no clue who's gonna win.
Oscar, now let's think positive. Let's say Canelo beats Jacob. Moving forward, what do you think is the biggest fight out there after that?
After that, I mean, look. Imagine if Canelo wants to. I mean, his whole thing is to unify all the titles, and he's very serious about it. So we have to take that into consideration. And the next guy after that is Demetrius Andrade, I believe, who has the WBO. But what if one day Canelo tells me, you know what, I wanna be the only Mexican to conquer 4 divisions, and he wants to fight Kovalev in light heavyweight. It's a major fight. And then obviously you have Golovkin, the trilogy. I mean, because it's always a trilogy. The third fight is obviously going to decide, or actually it's gonna. If Golovkin wins, it'll be tied. But if Canelo wins, it'll decide decisively. You know, say who the better champion is. There are many options out there. That's the beauty of Canelo, is that he can fight at 160, 168, and if he's crazy enough, go up to 175.
Oscar, you made a couple comments about your old friend Floyd Mayweather.
When did I do that?
You guys joust all the time. The question is, like, when you actually are talking about a rematch of that 2013, are you serious or are you just having a little fun with Floyd?
Oh, there's a lot of money to be made. If he wants to, I mean, look, he's retired, but if he wants to come back, there's a lot of money to be made. So the way you should have picked up the phone to make a fight with Ryan, pick up the phone and make a fight with Canelo. Easy as that.
Oscar, what if Andre Ward wanted that fight at 175? He'd come out of retirement.
Andre Ward retired at what, 168 or 175? Yeah. I mean, imagine Canelo calling out Andre Ward. Don't you think Andre Ward will come back for a Canelo fight? It's so the possibilities are endless for Canelo. I mean, that's the beauty of him, as he can fight at 160, 68, and I mean, for me it's crazy, but he can fight at 175.
Oscar, how does it make you feel when you hear people trying to say, "Oh, it's impossible to win a decision against Canelo in Vegas"? I'm sure you hear that all the time.
No, it's nothing's impossible. Just got to beat the champ. You got to fight hard. I mean, people when I fought in Vegas, it was like, oh, it's impossible to beat Oscar in Vegas. Fucking lost 5 times in Vegas. you know what I'm saying?
At least 2 of them were robberies.
Yeah, two were robberies, but hey, just fight hard, man. You gotta fight hard. Convince. You gotta convince. Beat the champ.
With all the platforms in boxing, and I did a story on it recently, I spoke here. Are you worried there's almost too many platforms involved, and do you think, in your view, they actually get in the way of fights being made?
I don't think. Look, we're probably the only promoter that has worked with everybody, including Al Heyman, including Bob Arum, doing now with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Boxing. So we're open to making the best fights. You know, Tom Loeffler. So we're open to making the best fights. I mean, we're considering that there are many platforms and many egos. You know, I'm actually very proud that we can, you know, we've made the best fights possible at that time. Like, for instance, Lomachenko and Linares. You know, with Bob Arum, we did as well Orozco versus
Jose Ramirez.
Versus Ramirez, which was like a candidate for Fight of the Year, you know. And then we did Triple G with Canelo, and then so on and so on. So it's a matter of just leave your egos, you know, in the bottom of your pillow, and you know, so just let's make these fights happen for the public.
Oscar, because of Jacobs' height, length, and ability to move, do you think that Canelo's best suited or fighting in the style he fought in the rematch with Golovkin, you know, pushing forward, trying to initiate exchanges?
He'll figure it out. I think Canelo will. He's a fighter that can adjust. Has a fighter who knows how to figure you out. Maybe it'll take him a few rounds, but I think, yeah, Jacobs has a different style than Golovkin. He knows how to box. He moves. He has better footwork. He can fight you. He can box you. I think that I think Jacobs is so good that he can figure you out, but Canelo is just as good as you, or even better, to figure you out. So that's why it's going to be such a great fight. Thank you. Oh.